I'm going to start off with who I am. I went to a school called Gannon University. That's in Erie, Pennsylvania. That's where I live now. I have my early childhood and elementary degree. And I started teaching kindergarten actually right out of college. And then while I was teaching, I got my master's in educational leadership and eventually my principal K-12 certificate. So I taught in public schools for 15 years. Same school, it's called Fairview Elementary School. I became the curriculum leader. I was telling Matthew, I kind of morphed into this position from the curriculum leader. From the curriculum leader position, I became the professional development guy. I was good at the computers. We used Schoology, and I just started teaching the K-12 teachers for professional development. I actually started my own, or not my own, Fairview Cyber Academy. This was before the pandemic. And then from the classroom, I was an administrator. I was a director in the Catholic school system. I was in charge of 6 different schools, K-8. I was the director of instructional design and technology. So just like many of you, I had many hats that I wore. I like the title too. The title's pretty cool. Okay, Schools POP, it's NCAA accredited. Okay, the cool thing about the Schools POP, we have about 2,000 core and elective courses, which is a lot and can be overwhelming, but we have a support staff and training staff that you would work with to align with your standards, your curriculum, what you're looking for. So there's a lot of help to help you choose. Instead of the old days, you got one curriculum or you bought different curriculums to try to mix and match. Just within the platform, we have a lot of curriculum providers and you're able to choose what you want to use to make your own curriculum, which is cool. So you can add and subtract as you go, which is really good. Even the one benefit I think of Schools POP that comes to my mind, I'm fresh out of the classroom. I started in June, so I'm an educator. I'm not a salesman. I'm an educator at heart. I'll always be an educator. If a student, this really stuck out to me, if a student is taking an Algebra 1 course and doesn't do well with that particular course, I'm used to, well, now I have to find things as a teacher to try to help that student differentiate within my classroom. We can move that one student into, there's 4 Algebra 1 courses. We could just click the button, move that student into a different Algebra 1 course, whichever one would fit their need. So that's a really simple process. Also, we can set the whole school up in 90 minutes. There's a lot of training, a lot of support, but the 90-minute setup is great as well. Why Schools POP? This is a quick 2-minute video. It gives an overall view of why to even use Schools POP.
Hello, I have one question. When students are not successful with the online course you've assigned to them, what do you do next? With Schools POP, we bring together multiple instructional designs within our platform that teaches the same course. It doesn't make sense for every student to be assigned the same course. Expect them all to be successful and not have an alternative online option. Let's take Algebra 1 as an example. The most failed course in the U.S. We have 4 different Algebra 1 instructional design formats, which include one with artificial intelligence adapting at the step level, not the question level, but the step level. So aside from choice of course design, all of our resources can be searched and added by topic, allowing teachers to mix and match as needed. This is just the tip of the iceberg with reasons schools are switching to Schools POP. Our mission is to improve the lives of educators. So just reply back with a date and time to talk. And I guarantee you that within the first 15 minutes, you'll be able to determine if Schools PLP could improve the lives of your staff by making it easy to manage and help your students with their online coursework. Whether it's fully virtual, credit retrieval, acceleration or intervention, or even hybrid learning, along with prep materials. We do it all. I'm just asking for 15 minutes of your time. Need more time to think about it? Need more time to think about it? Check out our website. It's a free demo, a comprehensive course catalog, and we make it easy to read about what other schools are saying about us. SchoolsPLP.com. We look forward to connecting soon.
Okay, that's just a quick overview of who we are. Also, I live in Erie, Pennsylvania. So being an educator, I would love to be in classrooms, help out, have meetings with anyone. I love being in person rather than on Zoom. Here's a look at a curriculum catalog for K-5, and each color is a different curriculum provider. So we have 7 different core classes for language arts. There's six different synchronous, 6 different asynchronous. Purple's a different. The M is for math space, which would be great if we could schedule like individual meetings so I could show exactly what math space is. I taught 4th grade math and would have loved it. It differentiates itself using artificial intelligence. So as a student is solving a problem step by step, if they miss a step or mess up at a step, it stops them. There's videos, there's examples, there's everything to show them how to do that step and move on. So that is great, as well as the C stands for Corin. It's a science curriculum, and there's like 40 models that the students can kind of manipulate and different experiments within there. So hopefully we can schedule some individual meetings and take you guys through and individualize the meetings.
Those VR, the science ones, or are they just on the computer?
They're not VR, but they're like augmented kind of. Yeah. So if there was like a heart, you can kind of twist and turn the heart, zoom in on it, and see the different parts of the heart instead of just seeing a flat picture. So it's really neat. And they're always adapting. They're always taking ideas. So if you have requests and things like that, they take them and they actually look at them and we talk about them and make changes. So they're always making changes. I'm fresh out of the classroom. If like my customers tell me some things, or I'll make suggestions, and so we're always changing and working with providers and things like that. Middle school, same thing. The catalog is extremely big. There's 47 electives and 96 core courses. This can be used for credit recovery. It can be used just for all virtual school. Some schools use it for CTE courses. I was all across the state this week, and everyone's using it in a different way. So what I would like to do is develop a forum, and I've talked to a few schools, and I would like them to kind of talk and show how they're using it with their school, just for some examples and to spark some ideas and some conversations. And in high school, it gets bigger. Lots of choices, lots of career classes, electives, and they're constantly adding more. So the interface is really simple, kid-friendly. You would press go. It can tell you if the kids are on pace, off pace. There's a parent-teacher guide, which I think is great. The kids aren't just thrown into, here's your courses, good luck. It can take the parent and teacher step by step, for each lesson, what is needed. And here's, if you share this, these are linked up. So this will go right to our website. This will go to the course catalog. And then you can also, I'd like to set people up with an actual demo. And then if you want to pick teachers or students or whatever, this is right on the website and it's a demo. And it's just, it gives you kind of a look of what the teacher would see the different progress of the kids and things like that. So
if you wanted to, you can do that from here too. I don't know what your plan is, so just click on any one of those, and then just in the top, click share this tab instead, and then everybody on the call will be able to see that too.
Okay, so this is the view of like what a teacher has. I also have this within my slide show as well, which is cool. This talks about, I know Ohio has some laws about seat time and things like that. So that is covered to the minute. They also covered for each activity as well, how long they spent on the activity. Did they master it? How many tries they had? So this kind of tells the progress, the grades. If they're disengaged, that FD is fully disengaged. That tells you how there's a certain amount of time where the student hasn't logged on. So you can click anywhere on the screen, kind of. So if I want to look at Selena or the report card view, this will tell how many activities, their grade, how many hours that they worked, how many times did they master in the first try. And again, this can be differentiated. If they didn't master their first try, you can offer a student, maybe they get 4 tries. Maybe they need something reset. Maybe they need it to be a multiple choice. Maybe they need less choices of multiple choice. The course setup is great as well. I'm not sure how much time everyone has, but so if I click on Sylvia, this tells what courses she has, what grades in each course, and the latest activities. This is a pretty cool feature. It was exactly 11:30 a.m. You spent less than a minute. So if they're spending less than a minute, you can tell if they're kind of going through too quickly or not. The other thing I like about Schools PLP is to send a message. The student can send a message directly to the teacher. It depends what you would have. We also have mentors that could be part of the package. There are virtual instructors that could be part of the package. The mentor follows along with the student, so you could send a message. I don't think it'll show. It'll go to a different. Oh, okay. So teacher can send a message directly to Sylvia. Sylvia can send a message back. We have it set so Sylvia can't just ignore that message. She's got to look at it and read it, click on it before she can move on. So she's not able to just hit that X. Teacher can also send a message to the entire class. Whatever's easiest for the teacher, what makes the most sense. Yeah, if I click the individual course, this also gives more detail about what the student, how they've done, when they did the activity, how much time they spent on each activity. And on the side here, a lot of times there's like an ask question tab. So if a teacher has a question, they could click on the tab and it could be like an instant message or it can be an email. They get right back to you, which is nice. So
then are you going back to your slides?
yeah.
Okay. So I think you would want to go back to the Google Meet, which is like 2 over from the right. And then select the share button down below. It's the square with the upward facing arrow. And then just choose a tab. And then your presentation. So that's the second one. And then move back.
Okay. Okay, here's how some of the classes are set up. They have it as a read it, a practice it, a show it. There's different answer keys. It depends on the curriculum provider that's chosen. So like the show it would be an assessment type, and apply it would be, it could be assessed as well. A lot of times there's a watch it. It's almost like a Khan Academy, but it's our own instructors. There's also games as you get into the elementary school. Kids can play games that go along with the lessons. This is kind of, I would like to set everyone up with a free schools PLP trial. That way, if we do have it at Edmentum, Edgenuity, any product, could try it out. I think the best way to see if you like it is to try it. If you don't like it, stay with whatever you have. But you could also be able to tell the difference and then make your own judgment of, do I like it? Do I not like it? And then we could have individual meetings to figure out how we can best meet the needs of each school. Again, the forum, we're going to have guest speakers. I talked to them this week, or current users, because some current users they're using it and like it, and I spoke to them about how the other schools are using it, and they really are interested. So we're going to have current users, potential users on there. I'll shoot you an email, I'll let you know when we're doing that. For everyone at work, if you scan the QR code, my information will automatically go in. I left my cards with Matthew.
And attach the slides to this event. So
you just take your phone right up to that.
Yep.
But you could text me at the 814 number. You could email me, call me, whatever's easiest. I would be your contact, and then I could set you up with, if you need training, support, anything, I'll get back to you as quick as possible. And again, I live 2 hours away. I could come here anytime. Not sure how much time everyone has, but I wanted to show like a typical lesson. There's an activate, engagement, and demonstration. That's kind of how they're set up. Again, it looks different with the different curriculum providers. It'll just depend. And this is part of like the parent teacher guide. One thing I like about it, writing lesson plans and things like that, it has the objectives already written for you, the materials that they need. Here's an example for engagement. So the kid would start with a read it, tell exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They're talking about fluency. Then they're going to move to an assess it. And this kind of tells if a parent's working with them, or a teacher or a mentor, an aide. Some schools are using aides for this because they can't find teachers. That's another thing. One of our schools, they couldn't find a Spanish teacher. So we have a virtual teacher. They're certified in Spanish, Ohio certified. They're the teacher of record. There's also a mentor that goes along with them. So I also have people taking calculus with one of our teachers at Spire Institute. So we're slowly adding, or they are adding kids left and right. And then there's a demonstration. A lot of times it's assessment. So we know, or the teacher knows, did that student understand it? Did they actually go over the lesson? And then there's an activate. So here's a second grade language arts teach it. So there's Lincoln Learning, which is one of our publishers. They would press play, watch whatever. This one talks about hard work and determination, short vowels. So this would talk all about short vowels. It's quick. Second graders have a very short attention span. I understand. I taught kindergarten first, very quick, and then they move in to play it. So this is a fun game for the kids. Talks about short vowels. They're taking what they just watched to teach it. This is kind of reinforcing exactly what they just learned. And the kids love the games. They're fun. There may be another watch it for more reinforcement, and then an assess it component. So there's a little checkpoint. Sometimes it's like a piece of paper. There's Google Draw, and the kids can, write on whatever they need to, type whatever, submit it to the teacher. The teacher gives feedback. They can give feedback right on the document. Or it could be a quiz. It depends on what's assessed, grade level as well. And the thing I really wanted to to show, especially for teachers. And when a teacher logs in, they see the courses that they're teaching, how many students. We kind of saw this earlier. This chat at the upper right, this little dot means one of the students sent them a chat, sent them a message. They can click on it, chat back. This Need Help button is the one I was talking about, where they could, there's actual real people that will message right back. There's a whole group of support staff and training staff that could get right back to them, email me, or email me as well. But they can click on different things. They can see report cards, current activities. And like I showed earlier, which I love, if they press the current activity, they can see exactly what was done, the latest work that was done. If they press report cards, they have the students, instructional days, how many hours they logged in. This one has a lot of unfinished activities. And one of my favorites is the message. So the teacher has a choice. They can do all the students in the course. They can select the students, type the message. It goes directly to that student.
How does it determine if they're on pace or behind?
There is a pacing. So we could set everything up to fit your school calendar. So they're all going to be different. So it automatically paces out the entire course to meet. So if it's 180 days, it starts now, it'll pace them out automatically so that they stay on pace, which is a great feature to have so the teachers aren't figuring out. And that can be a bulk edit. You guys don't do anything with that at all. If there's a holiday, things like that, those aren't counted towards a school day. Good question. And again, we can see the progress when the student did the activity. This has the pace date. Hey, they need to have these activities done July 29th. That's what they need done. August 1st, these ones. And you can hide activities. So if you have a student that maybe is a little bit slower, needs the extra help, needs the extra time, you could take things away so they're not all frustrated and bent out of shape. You can add activities for students that are faster. This is the teacher view, which just being out of classroom is one of my favorite. It looks a lot like Google Classroom, and it looks a little bit like Schoology, but the class is already built. So I was thinking from my administrative position of last year, teachers during a pandemic, they made all kinds of Google Docs, Google Slides, Google everything. Well, they can use those for this class. So these are the different units that are taught. They can click the arrow and all the activities drop down. And they're able to hide activities and add activities, which is probably one of my favorites. So if they click the arrow, course resources, and it lists everything that is there. And if there's something they don't like, they just hit the I to hide it. They can edit it, and then the next thing they can do is they can add. Am I going too fast for you? So here's an example of, okay, they want to hide all these things. So students can't see them at all, and it shrinks it down. So a lot of times it could be overwhelming. Maybe they don't need all of that. Here's where it says there's the teach it. Maybe they wanted to teach it, and the student has a low reading level. I want to take that read out of there. Then they can just do play it. So this teacher says, okay, I want to do the teach it. I'm gonna let the student play it. We're gonna watch it again. And then they took out the practice it. They can do practice it. They can do play it again. There can be assessment. This 8K is the answer key. So the teachers, I remember teaching, I don't remember the answers, or maybe I'm unsure what they're expecting. So it's hidden for the student. You can unhide that as well. Maybe you want students to have it. but that's always for the teacher to have. This is my favorite as a teacher. So when I taught, we used Schoology, like I said. The schools that I was in charge of used Google Classroom, and it got to a point where we at my old school used the Teacher Pay Teacher. Ever heard of that? That became our curriculum. Teachers were downloading all these different materials from Teacher Pay Teacher and just putting it in the Schoology. This has a library of over like 1 million activities. So everything is within the platform. If I'm teaching, we could say something about the heart, you would just click on the library, and I could show that. Click on the library, type in heart, and thousands of activities show up. And it could be teach it, it could be a practice it could be the Corinth where they have that 4D augmented reality object. It can be anything. So there's no buying anything. It's right there. If I'm in a hurry as a teacher, I need something quick, I just go to that library and there's things already there. If I made something, I can go to the Google. Go right in the Google Drive, pick whatever I made. It gets right into there. So the kids aren't clicking on different tabs. Everything is within Schools PLP. And there's all these other things that can be created. They can make it their own assessment, just like in the other the Schoology things. They can make their own practice, journals, endless possibilities. And again, schools are using it differently. However they like to use it, teachers will use it differently. I think it'd be important for a teacher to sit in on some trainings, and I could show them, or the training staff could show them how they can utilize those. Again, what if I already had my own curriculum? We can create our own course. So one district that had it at home, they were looking for a graduation class. They gave me the entire course syllabus, the objectives, the standards. I gave it to the support staff, and together we created, using all the different curriculums we have, we created a class, and I got it that same day. So possibilities are endless. If there's a third grade course that you have for math, we want to match up those standards, we can create whatever. I don't know if I have time for, yeah. So I'd like to show if possible. I'm not sure if this will keep used to my computer.
And then up in the top, you'll just want to do share this tab instead.
So this is a school I have in PA. It's actually in Erie, Fort Leboeuf School District. We have their logo on there, so the kids know exactly this is where I'm at. I'm gonna do. So. And so here's my courses that my sample teacher is teaching. I can do, well, I'm gonna do MathSpace. And then they could just they could see their students like we talked about before. There's a learning plan. The course setup is what I was just showing you. Oh, gotcha. So this is broken down into how the Algebra 1 course is set up. And we can move, click and hold, drag things wherever you want them. Let's say I want functions to go instead of second, I want that to go third. Can edit however I want it to be. I can make, my own pictures here. I can name it differently. If I want to This one's, we can do different things within, if you want it to be the different height, the sign. There's another spot where we can do, the kids have to finish in order. So that's real. We can actually do that in a batch. Kids can't just click through and finish. They have to do every activity in order. Again, that can be different for every school. So this is what it looks like on the teacher side of things. You can weight everything. Again, we can do batch entry. It'll show us the different activities. And that's based on the scheduling.
If you're ready, back to your slides, just click the slides up top. Yeah, it's that.
Here's a curriculum example for ELA. Again, it gives a main idea. There's directions. This is a Lincoln Learning. The math is pretty cool. This is the step-by-step they can write on there, depending on what kind of devices they have, if they're touchscreen Chromebooks or iPads, whichever. And this goes step-by-step. Videos and hints. And then the science curriculum, again, you got interactive, hands-on, 3D models. And the teachers can change it as needed. That's the end of my slides. I know everyone has on a time crunch. I was hoping to answer any kind of questions.
If you're joining us online and you have questions, feel free to unmute, or you can pop them in the chat and I can answer them directly.
When you were hiding some of those things when you're like building a curriculum, you said like either for an individual student or for the, can you do it by student or can you do it by curriculum? Like if I don't like the way this class is designed, when you click that hide, does that one adjust the pacing? Is it like completely take it out, or is it just hide and then they'll come back to a later date to get a full completion of the course?
You can do both, individually or entire
By class.
course by
Okay.
class. It doesn't affect any kind of pacing. They won't have to come back. It's just hidden.
It's just hidden.
It's just hidden.
So
So
it
they-
automatically recalculates pacing based on that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. It's a 2-second thing. So it's real teacher friendly.
Right.
Extremely teacher friendly, it's school friendly and kid friendly. So again, I just think of different creative ideas of how this can be used. Originally, I thought it could only be used if it's cyber school, but it can be used for cyber school, credit recovery, the CT courses. Maybe I have an advanced student. Well, I want to put this kid on here, and I can develop activities from there. Maybe there's one that I dealt with the school. There's literally kids on a 3rd grade level and kids on like an 8th grade level. But differentiating that as a teacher is not ideal. They can use this product easily to do that within the classroom.
So if you wanted to do that, are you able to say, like for Algebra 1, if you have an advanced student and you want to pull in extra concepts, because you know the skills are there, so I want to pull something maybe from Algebra 2 concepts or whatever, well, can you like drop and drag, like
Yeah.
so now you can pull it out of this content and make a specialized course, so it'll function that way as well?
Yeah. So you can go to the library if you want one activity.
Mm-hmm.
You can get them from anywhere.
Anywhere.
So for sure, that
So
kid
you
can
can build a course, pull stuff out by hiding it, or drag stuff in if you want to.
Exactly. So you want to, if you're doing Algebra 1, you have, like I used to, I'm sure a lot of people do, small groups.
Mhm.
So I've got, let's say, for example, high group, middle group, low group.
Mhm.
For sure, you can give that high group Algebra 2 material, whichever. Maybe you're good with middle group, or you want them a little bit advanced, and then the low group, bring in some lower level, middle school math or something that would match that, but a little bit easier. And it's in seconds, which it would involve whatever training that would be needed. And again, I wouldn't mind having a Zoom with people
Sure.
or or coming and going, but I know everyone's spread so thin, but I think a quick Zoom to show would be, there's any time during the day.
Right.
But that's a great question, and
It's possible.
it's possible,
Yeah.
and it's great for within the classroom to differentiate. So that's another example of how it can be used, which is endless, which is great. Which that would be great to share during this forum that I want to have, something like that for sure. There's all kinds, some schools use it. It's very impressive. So I'd love if people showed up. I'd also love the free trial. We can set you up. It'll have your logo on it, give you some logins, ready to go. So if anyone has some free time, or they have someone that's dedicated to the technology, every school's different. We could even set up with some training for the free trial as well.
I'm not seeing anything come through in the chat, but I'll stop the recording and there's no side conversation in the room or whatnot. But definitely want to thank Jeff Martin from Schools PLP for coming in and sharing with us today. You see his contact on the screen. And then if you check the event for today, I have his slides. I also have been taking notes if you want to check in on those too. So thank you everybody for coming, and definitely thank you, Jeff.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.